shaping up as the most stabilizing geopolitical partnership of the century. Now thrown in the bin by a very dishonest Trump. Since it's an evolving situation, I thought let's give it a pass. So this episode, I focus on two stories, both domestic, both coming out of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Independence Day speech. He announced a mission to study demographic changes happening in the country, and for the first time mentioned the RSS from the ramparts of the Red Fort. There's a political meaning in both. Let's take a deep dive.
आज से 100 साल पहले एक संगठन का जन्म हुआ, राष्ट्रीय स्वयंसेवक संघ। 100 साल की राष्ट्र की सेवा एक बहुत ही गौरवपूर्ण स्वर्णिम पृष्ठ है।
This was Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying glowing tributes to the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, or the RSS, from the ramparts of the Red Fort. This was the first time he mentioned the organization, which is his own ideological mothership, as it is of his party, the BJP, in his 12th Independence Day speech. This marked the first time a Prime Minister of India has mentioned RSS from the Red Fort, that too in the most glowing terms. There was an occasion to do so. The RSS marks 100 years of its existence this year, but then there was no compulsion to do so. Another RSS product was PM in the year 2000, when RSS completed 75 years. But Atal Bihari Vajpayee did not deem it fit to make its mention in his ID speech. In that sense, PM Modi has done a favor to the RSS by spotlighting its contributions to society and nation building. He called RSS world's biggest NGO that builds character through service, dedication, and organization with utmost discipline. He commended lakhs of Swayamsevaks for their lifetime of service to the cause of Maa Bharati, and that India feels proud of their century of service. But then maybe it's not a favor.
52 साल तो तिरंगा ही नहीं फहराया, जंग आज़ादी के अंदर कोई योगदान नहीं रहा। भारत छोड़ो आंदोलन में इनका योगदान क्या था? इन्होंने विरोध किया था। तो आज ये बात कहना बेमानी होगी। आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में कोई बात कहें तो समझ में आता है, लेकिन उन 52 साल का हिसाब भी देना कि 52 साल आपने झंडा ही नहीं फहराया।
ये जो 100 साल पूरे हुए हैं, इनको अंग्रेजों को बधाई देनी चाहिए, क्योंकि सुनने में आता है और कुछ इतिहासकार ये लिखते हैं कि कुछ संगठन अंग्रेजों ने बनाए थे जिससे भारत को धर्म के आधार पर विभाजित किया जा सके। संघी साथियों को भी अपनी पहली विचारधारा जो थी समाजवादी और सेकुलर, उसको याद रख करके देश को और आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए।
Political reactions were quick. Congress called this an attempt to legitimize an organization banned by Sardar Patel in the aftermath of the Mahatma Gandhi assassination. Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party said RSS was neither secular nor socialist. RSS does not claim to be secular. It openly professes for a Hindu Rashtra. It actually believes India is already one and that it only needs to be asserted. Secularism is a political tool meant to appease the minorities, particularly the largest one of Muslims. And this was, in fact, the raison d'etre for RSS to come into existence back in 1925. While this was expected, opposition trope. The mention by PM of RSS in his Independence Day speech has a political backdrop and significance. There's a strong political grapevine in New Delhi that there's a Cold War brewing since 2024 at least between Nagpur, the headquarters of RSS, and the BJP, its political offspring. The trigger was a comment attributed to incumbent party president JP Nadda that to win elections, the BJP was no more dependent on RSS mobilization, or was big enough now to have outgrown its dependence on its ideological parent. Though denied later as a misrepresentation of what he meant, Nadda's comment to the Indian Express amid the 2024 general election campaign caused serious heartburn among the millions of RSS cadre. if not substantially, then in good measure, the BJP's slide to 240 seats, wiping off its single-party majority since 2014, got attributed to this cold shoulder across the country. Despite Nadda's lamentations, damage had been done, with the stern parent leaving the offspring to its fate. As I said, this was not the most important factor in BJP's tally of 240 in 2024 against 303 in 2019. Uttar Pradesh, for example, was a different play, with different set of factors contributing to the BJP coming down to 36 seats from 63 in the state. But RSS-BJP Cold War has been discernible in other ways also. The ruling party was supposed to get a new president before general elections, with incumbent Nadda's 3-year term ending just ahead of the exercise. He was given an extension to not disturb the apple cart before the same. But since then, it's been 2 years or more. Every couple of months, momentum picks up only to fizzle out. Just last month, when it seemed like the issues stood resolved and the BJP would get its next chief, the can got kicked down yet again. Prime Minister Modi visited Nagpur earlier this year in the month of March, and the visit was seen as an exercise in rapprochement. While at the RSS headquarters, PM described the organization as a banyan tree of India's immortal culture. Then we had RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat visiting the official residence of PM at 7 LKM for the first time that an RSS chief was doing so immediately after the Pahalgam terror attack. It was believed that this was an exercise to take RSS on board on 2 crucial issues: response to Pahalgam and the caste census decision, which was announced a day after the meeting. Clearly, if the election of the next BJP president is a yardstick, then all the engagement has had no impact. The latest move this week was to get a candidate with strong RSS roots in C.P. Radhakrishnan to contest for the post of Vice President of India. The result of this, if any, would be seen over the next month. The RSS has been banned 3 times since independence. First for about a year in the aftermath of the assassination of father of the nation Mahatma Gandhi, and then again in 1975 during emergency, and in 1992 after the demolition of the Babri Masjid. Through its journey of 100 years, RSS has spawned 50 and more of social service organizations working in various walks of life. The Students' Wing, for example, Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, came in 1949. The Jan Sangh came next year in 1950. The early industrialization period saw the Bharatiya Majdoor Sangh getting established in 1955. The VHP, or the Vishv Hindu Parishad, which has spearheaded the Ram Temple movement, came in 1964. And of course, the BJP itself in 1980. Today, the amalgam called the Sangh Parivar has over 5 million active members, with RSS shakhas present in each of the 900 plus districts of the country. In February this year, the organization inaugurated a new building complex at its New Delhi address of Jhandewalan, with 3 13-story towers, which have 300 plus rooms, auditoriums, a library, medical amenities, with a blend of modern technology and understated simplicity to underscore RSS philosophy. It sure marks a progress in the journey of the NGO that has seen turbocharged growth during the last 12 years of the Modi government. Today, the RSS can claim the Prime Minister as one of them from their ranks. A score and more union cabinet ministers who have done Namaste Sada Vatsale Matrabhume for decades. Half a dozen chief ministers and hundreds of state ministers who owe allegiance to the saffron flag. The clout and power that RSS draws from this is immense. Contrast this with Congress years, which meant a peripheral existence for the Sangh and occasional bans. Yet, when you meet senior office bearers of RSS and discuss politics, there's almost a bashfulness. Oh, we are not into politics. We are into culture. There's almost the denialism of an escapist. If the number of RSS shakhas the primary unit of the organization, is a barometer of relevance and clout, then for sure there's a story that ties the RSS to the BJP's tryst with power. The figure stood at about 40,000 when Modi came to power in 2014. The number is 85,000 now. Shakhas more than doubled during Modi years. Clearly, there's a Modi bump which cannot be ignored, even as the parent asserts its right to control. The RSS leadership might want to have a hard look at its ongoing Cold War with the BJP in the light of these numbers. While Nadda might have overstated BJP's independence in a moment of overconfidence, and the BJP paid dearly for it, the RSS does draw comfort, growth, stability, and acceptance from BJP's stay in power. The RSS leadership needs to know that denying this is not smart. To remain at loggerheads with the Modi government does not help both the sides. And there's a lesson from history. Nagpur was in a similar jousting match with the Vajpayee government. It felt the Prime Minister was not doing enough on Ayodhya Ram Temple. The RSS was particularly peeved at Jaswant Singh's pro-liberalization budgets, and its cadres folded back from the 2004 general election. The result was not only BJP going out of power, but even RSS, losing 10,000 of its shakhas the same year. The writing is on the wall to see. Moving on.
षड्यंत्र के तहत सोची समझी साजिश के तहत देश की डेमोग्राफी को बदला जा रहा है। एक नए संकट के बीज बोए जा रहे हैं और ये घुसपैठिए मेरे देश के नौजवानों की रोजी रोटी छीन रहे हैं। एक घुसपैठिए मेरे देश की बहन बेटियों को निशाना बना रहे हैं। ये बर्दाश्त नहीं होगा।
The demographic change debate is back. This was Prime Minister Modi announcing the setting up of a demography commission with subject experts to map the phenomenon and all its aspects. The issue has been on the agenda of the ruling BJP for a while, but the party gave an impression that it was more an election time talking point than a serious matter of concern. Till now. The opposition reaction has been on expected lines, panning the move as part of standard BJP Hindu politics to create a Muslim bogey. This counter-argument is based on BJP's perception as a Hindu party out to demonize the Muslims. Those pushing this version claim that with 200 million Muslims against 1.2 billion Hindus, there is no way that Muslims can outnumber Hindus in India, that the growth and fertility rates are coming down for all communities in a secular manner, and the gap that existed between Hindus and Muslims is narrowing, that aspirations are same for every community and economic considerations determine family size now. In this backdrop, the Modi government's move salvages the issue from stumpy speeches and political perceptions. Let us take a deep dive on what is demographic change, whether it is real or just a political bogey, as the opposition would have us believe. What do census figures tell us, for example? These numbers can be considered secular, as those census exercises were carried by governments of all persuasions over a century, from the British, the Congress, to the BJP, and even communists dominated United Front. For some graphics, I have depended on the work of Chennai-based Center for Policy Studies, whose director J.K. Bajaj allowed his data mining to be used for our show. First modern census happened in India in 1881. Since then, the decadal exercise has happened 14 times. The data helps create a clear pattern of demographic change, some natural, much of it forced through the two partitions of 1947 and 1971. Infiltration too, or illegal infiltration too, has been a historical factor in states like Assam and Bengal and Tripura. Population pattern is changing even in some pockets of Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, and even the National Capital Territory of Delhi. In the India of 1881, the Indic faiths, Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, and Jainism constituted about 80% of the population. Today, in the same territory, which now includes Pakistan and Bangladesh, the number stands at 67% as per the 2011 census. In the same period, the Muslim population of the subcontinent has increased from 20% to 31%. Given that the delayed census might continue with the pattern, we are looking at Indic faiths at about 65% vis-a-vis Muslims at about 33%. Christians too have grown to more than double their numbers over this period of 130 years, but most of them in India. This itself should call the bluff of deniers. But let's get deeper. As the first post-independence census of 1951 shows, in Pakistan, the population of Hindus, which was roughly 18% before partition, reduced drastically to 1.5% due to mass migration in 1947. Since then, it has remained steady at below 2%, barely accounting for replacement fertility rates. In Bangladesh, Indic faiths accounted for about 30% of the population in territories that became East Pakistan post-independence. In 2011 census, the number stood at less than 10%, which means Hindu population in what was East Pakistan earlier and Bangladesh post-1971 has reduced steadily from 1/3 to less than 1/10 now. Within the post-partition India, the Indic faiths first increase in a post-partition bump from 84% in 1941 to 87% in 1951, but have since reduced steadily to 83% as per 2011 census. And extrapolating the trend might land the figure at 81 to 82% in the present. But that's not what the demographic change is all about. It goes beyond the national picture to regional pockets which present the whole issue in a different light. In Santhal Pargana of Jharkhand, for example, tribal population came down from 36% in the year 2000 when the state was carved out of Bihar to 26% now. Both religious conversions and internal migration could have contributed to the figures. The Muslim population, which was less than 10% in the same geography in 1951, stood at 22% in 2011 and could be 25% now. Same story as we move from Jharkhand to Bihar, where the Purnia pocket abutting Santhal Pargana has seen minority population increase from 32% in 1951 to 46% in 2011, possibly 48-49% in the present. Bengal presents a similar picture. While in the entire state, Muslim population has seen an increase from 18% at the time of independence to 27% in last census and possibly 30% now. In districts like Murshidabad, it is as high as 66 to 70%. This has political consequences. Since 1952, when first general elections were held in India, Murshidabad has not elected a single non-Muslim candidate. Nothing wrong in it per se. There's a Muslim majority, it must elect a Muslim candidate. So the secularism argument goes, right? There are a few other pockets of demographic concentration from western Uttar Pradesh to Assam to Kerala that can be seen in these graphics. Mewat in Haryana was about 80% Muslim in 2011. It would obviously be more now in 2025. Similar trends of population concentrating along religious lines can be seen in the case of much of the Northeast, where the demography favors the followers of Christianity for historical reasons, going back to the colonial times. For example, in Nagaland and Mizoram, the British had tasked or outsourced to the church their education and health services, resulting in most of the tribes converting to Christianity over decades. Imagine, from being 100% tribal or Hindu till 1970s, Arunachal Pradesh had become 30% plus Christian by the last census. How does it affect politics? I mentioned that nugget earlier that Murshidabad in Bengal has always elected a Muslim MP since independent India's first Lok Sabha elections in 1952. Similarly, in Kishanganj in neighboring Bihar, but for 1967, when Lakhanlal Kapoor of Praja Socialist Party had won, the Lok Sabha seat has not seen a single non-Muslim MP. Of the 17 Lok Sabha elections, 10 times it has returned a Congress MP. 4 times the seat has been won by the RJD of Lalu Prasad Yadav. Once each by the Janata Dal and PSP, and only once by the BJP when Shahnawaz Hussain won in 1999 and went on to become a minister in the Vajpayee government. It is not happenstance that AIMIM of Asaduddin Owaisi opened its account in North India via Kishanganj, when in last Bihar Assembly elections, the party won 4 of its 5 seats from the district alone. The demography favors Owaisi's politics. There's a reason why only BJP leaders are vocal about demographic change. Their Hindutva politics, focusing on Hindu consolidation, means that Muslims are not going to vote for the party. We have seen from last year's general elections that despite a soft push through Pasmanda Muslims and a mathematically provable non-discriminatory governance delivery to the Muslims, the BJP saw massive polarization against it among the minorities. Unless you think BJP only gains with this debate, Bengal also has the Matua community, the scheduled caste Hindu migrants from Bangladesh who have come in waves since 1947, the biggest one post-1971. They constitute a substantial electorate in districts like North 24 Parganas, Nadia and South Dinajpur. Trinamool has already picked the theme that the demography mission poses a threat to these Hindu refugees. BJP has been scrambling to get them registered under new provisions of the CAA. While the interpretations would be political and ideological, the debate on demographics change is rooted in math, in numbers, and I have made some attempt at differentiating between the two. When I picked this issue last year, I had posited 2 questions to the ruling BJP. Why was the party shying away from the census and an NRC? The first one stands addressed. Census is rolling out next year and the data should be out by 2027. Not only that, this is going to be India's first caste census since 1931. This should put a halt to opposition myth-making on 2 counts: the caste dynamics, feeding reservations, and the religious divide. The issue of national register for citizens is more complex, but the BJP needs to take the bull by the horns. Look at their own government in Assam. The way it is struggling with eviction drive of illegal migrants from non-Assamese background. It has both a Bengali problem and a Bangladeshi problem to handle. NRC becomes even more daunting when you look at the mess created in Assam despite Supreme Court supervision. But that should only strengthen the resolve to make the process better and efficient. And NRC would have made an exercise like the special intensive revision of voter rolls in Bihar more reliable and less contested. It is an idea whose time has come. The Demography Commission would have to anyway wait for the census data to come for its report to contribute meaningfully to the political debate and governance. As we have seen in the case of Bihar during the ongoing SIR of electoral rolls, the Aadhaar, the voter ID card, the demography, the citizenship are all connected at the hip. The easy process of making Aadhaar card has compromised its integrity as a document relevant for governance and identity. During the Bihar SIR debate, we have seen instances where Aadhaar card numbers are more than the population of the district or constituency. In Assam, the entire state has more Aadhaar cards than its total population. Much of the stress in Bihar could have been avoided had the system been aligned in a manner that Aadhaar and voter ID and citizenship could be conflated into a single whole, an overarching architecture that solves the confusion, cleans the data, and makes our democracy stronger and governance targeted for maximum impact. Ultimately, it is not about Muslims, Hindus, infiltrators, and politics. It is about strengthening the roots of our democracy. Thanks for watching.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। What makes you a legend? Maybe that you're followed by everyone. Maybe that you follow no one. Maybe both. 10 years of Creta. Legend for